ESG, CSR, sustainability. You hear these letters thrown around all the time, right? But what do they actually mean? Honestly, it can feel like a total alphabet soup of corporate jargon. Well, today we're going to cut through all that noise and get right to the heart of what these really powerful ideas are all about. Okay, let's just dive right in. It all boils down to this one really fundamental question. As businesses grow and innovate, what kind of mark are they actually leaving on the world? Is it a heavy, messy footprint, or is it something lighter? Something more in harmony with the planet and its people? That's the core idea we're going to unpack. To get a handle on all these terms, we have to start at the very top with the ultimate goal, the big picture idea, sustainability. Just think of this as the destination we're all trying to get to. At its core, sustainability is all about balance. It's this simple but incredibly powerful idea that we need to meet our own needs today without wrecking the ability of future generations to meet theirs. It's about being economically smart, socially fair, and environmentally sound, all at the same time. Now, I love this quote because it just completely clarifies the priorities. It puts everything in its proper place. See, a healthy environment isn't just a nice to have, it's the non-negotiable foundation. The economy, that's just the tool we use to get to the real goal, which is, and always should be, the well-being of all of us. So if sustainability is the destination on the map, how does a company actually plan its journey? Well, that's where our next term comes into play, corporate social responsibility, or CSR for short. Think of CSR as the strategy, it's the roadmap. It's basically a company's pledge to be a good corporate citizen. This is where a business sits down and actively decides how it's going to contribute positively to society and manage its impact. It's their game plan for putting those big ideas of sustainability into actual practice. But look, a plan is just a plan without a way to track your progress, right? A promise needs proof. And this brings us to the most crucial part, the measurement. And that is the job of ESG. Exactly. A company can have the most beautiful CSR policy on its website, full of amazing promises. But how do we, as investors, as customers, as employees, know if they're actually following through? We need the data. We need to see the report card. And that report card is ESG. It stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance. These are the specific, concrete, measurable criteria that are used to grade a company's performance and its ethical impact. Think of it like the GPS data that tells us if a company is truly on the path that its CSR roadmap promised. So the key here is that ESG isn't just one vague thing. It's a framework that's built on three really distinct pillars. And together, they give us this holistic 360-degree view of a company's real-world impact. Let's break it down really quick. The E for environmental, that looks at things like a company's carbon footprint, how it manages waste, water, and energy. Then you have S for social, which is all about people. How does a company treat its employees, its customers, the community? This covers everything from working conditions to diversity. And finally, G for governance. That's all about how the company is run. Is it ethical? Is it transparent? Is it fighting corruption? Okay, now that we know what ESG is, let's do a little rapid fire round. Let's bust some of the biggest myths that are floating around out there about it. This is a big one. You hear people wave it off, oh, it's just the latest corporate fad. It'll be gone in a few years. So what's the real story? It is very much reality. Yeah, far from being some passing trend, ESG has become a fundamental tool for managing a modern business. Why? Because investors are demanding it. Regulators are starting to require it. And frankly, it helps companies spot huge long-term risks before they become disasters. It's now baked into strategy. Okay, on to the next big myth. The idea that being responsible is expensive, and that it's ultimately bad for business, that it hurts financial performance. Is that true? Nope, a complete myth. In fact, the data shows the total opposite. There was this fascinating study that found companies that actively adopt responsible practices actually saw a 13% increase in productivity. It turns out that doing good is actually really good for business. So why should you care about any of this? Because these ideas are not just stuck in boardrooms anymore. They are actively shaping our world, our careers, and the choices we make every single day. Just take the workforce, for instance. Look at this chart. For millennials, a company having strong, genuine CSR initiatives is now more important than getting higher pay.
People want to work for companies that actually align with their own values, and that is fundamentally changing how businesses have to operate to attract good people.
And it's not just about where we work, it's about where we spend our money. As this quote nails perfectly, our purchasing power is a massive driver of change. Every single time you choose a brand because of what it stands for, or you avoid one because of its sketchy actions, you are sending a crystal clear message that this stuff matters. So we've unpacked it. Sustainability is the goal, CSR is the plan, and ESG is the proof. The real question now is, what are you going to do with this? Now that you know the difference, how will you use your power as a consumer, an employee, or an investor? What will you demand from the companies that shape our world?